New Zealand declares national emergency. Argentina's inflation rate has hit just shy of 100%. Philippines may support Taiwan in event of conflict. Maersk sues Evergreen over 2021 blocking of Suez Canal. Kenya prays for rain to end extreme drought. AI brings real-time weather alerts to flood-prone countries. Nuclear energy included in EU's new rules on green hydrogen. Swedish kids take lessons from frozen lake.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Wednesday, February 15th, and here are your top stories. New Zealand declared a national state of emergency for only the third time in its history on Tuesday, as Cyclone Gabrielle caused widespread flooding, landslides, and huge ocean swells, forcing evacuations and stranding people on rooftops. About 225,000 people were left without electricity. New Zealand's Minister of Emergency Management, Kieran McNulty, said the country was now through the worst of the storm, even though more rain and high winds are expected.
The volunteer response across the country has been a phenomenal one.
Prime Minister Chris Hipkins told reporters after the declaration, it has been a big night for New Zealanders across the country. Roads are closed, mobile phone services down, and some towns cut off. Residents in hard-hit areas are being asked to conserve water and food because of fears of shortages. Air New Zealand has again canceled all domestic flights in and out of Auckland. Helicopter and boat crews were rescuing people trapped by rapidly rising floodwater in Hawke's Bay, southeast of Auckland.
Argentina's government said on Tuesday that the inflation rate has hit 99%. The South American country saw monthly inflation speed up to 6% in January, in line with forecasts, while the annual figure hit 98.8%, the highest since hyperinflation in the 1990s. Rampant inflation has slammed the economy, forcing the central bank to hike interest rates to an eye-popping 75%. Savers are feeling more pain for some of the world's fastest rising prices and workers' budgets straining as costs outstrip salaries.
Interviewed by Reuters, a 30-year-old doctor in Buenos Aires, Gesla Saluzzo, said, "The truth is that I live day to day. I look for low prices. I go to markets. We look for where the meat is cheaper, the vegetables are cheaper, and hunt for online promotions to get by." While Saluzzo has had to tighten her belt, 50-year-old teacher Andrea Mendoza said, "There are things that I have stopped buying because I say no. It's just impossible for it to increase like this. So I don't buy some things. I change habits or buy offers."
Philippines President Fernandez Marcos Jr. said his country could be pulled into a possible conflict in the Taiwan Strait because of its proximity to the country. Marcos told Nikkei in an exclusive interview last Sunday, "When we look at the situation in the area, especially the tension in the Taiwan Strait, we can see that just by our geographical location, should there in fact be conflict in that area, it's very hard to imagine a scenario where the Philippines will not somehow get involved."
Finally, the Prime Minister and I have agreed to cooperate even more closely in areas of economic cooperation.
Marcos said, as he ended a 5-day official visit to Japan, "We will be brought into the conflict because of whoever is, whichever sides are at work." Marcos said his home province of Ilocos Norte in northern Philippines is just a 40-minute flight away from the southern Taiwan city of Kaohsiung. He said, "We feel that we are very much on the front line." In case of a conflict, the president said the welfare of 150,000 Filipinos in Taiwan will be his priority. He said that will really depend on how it has gotten to that point.
On Monday, Maersk, the world's biggest shipping company, said it sued Evergreen, a rival shipping line, in a Danish court, seeking compensation for the ship delays that resulted from the blocking of the Suez Canal by a hulking vessel 2 years ago. AP Moller Maersk said it filed a claim against Evergreen Marine, the vessel's Japanese owner, and its German technical manager, Bernhard Schultz Management, in the Danish Maritime and Commercial High Courts in Copenhagen, Denmark.
The Copenhagen-based shipping company said the claim is related to losses suffered during the canal's blockage. It did not provide further details, including when it filed the claim. However, the Shipping Watch, a news outlet covering maritime industry, reported Monday that 50 of Maersk's container ships were delayed because of the canal's blockage. The report added Maersk seeks millions of dollars in compensation to cover, among other things, costs it incurred from customers with goods being transported on the delayed ships.
At a time on my own, I never thought I'd be here.
I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
With the prospect of a sixth consecutive failed rainy season in the East and Horn of Africa, Kenya's president is hoping the heavens will finally open with the help of a national day of mass prayer on Tuesday. The Intergovernmental Authorities on Development's Climate Center said that since 2020, 5 rainy seasons have failed, affecting over 50 million people. The center will release its projections for the long rainy season, typically from March to May, later in February. Earlier projections from other meteorological groups are not optimistic.
The clergy here today, our fathers of faith, our pastors, bishops.
Kenya and other East African nations have been experiencing some of the worst drought conditions in decades, causing crop failure, loss of livestock, wildlife and biodiversity, and malnutrition. Meteorologists say human-caused climate change has been exacerbating the extreme conditions. The UN humanitarian agency has termed the ongoing drought in the region a rapidly unfolding humanitarian catastrophe. It said that climate change has contributed to below-average rainy seasons in the region for about 3 decades.
More companies are using artificial intelligence to help shield clients in Asian countries, such as Thailand and Vietnam, from the fallout from weather-related disasters. Damage from a flash flood in 2021 prompted an electronic factory at Thailand's Bangpoo Industrial Park to sign up for a pilot forecast service from Weather News, a leading Japanese weather company. The service, which debuts in February, lets the factory outside Bangkok track the likelihood of sudden weather changes nearby within a 3-hour period.
Weather News uses AI to collect and analyze data for real-time hyperlocal forecasts. It warns clients of potential squalls and floods, letting them put up barriers or move equipment to prevent damage. Weather News also works with local authorities to install its radar, expected to bring the accuracy of its forecasts in Thailand on par with those in Japan. The company plans a full launch of AI-based forecasting in Thailand as early as March and in Vietnam as soon as June.
The European Commission on Monday proposed new rules under which hydrogen produced with nuclear energy is to be considered green. Rather than being labeled as renewable, though hydrogen made using nuclear electricity will be termed as low-carbon hydrogen. According to EU officials, there is no place for nuclear energy when producing renewable hydrogen, even if this low-carbon alternative will be allowed in the mix.
A draft law that would label some nuclear energy and gas energy projects as green investments.
France had been pushing to include so-called red hydrogen made using nuclear electricity in the green rules, but there have been opposition from both Germany and Spain. According to EU officials, there are no financial incentives for being labeled as either a renewable or low-carbon hydrogen, but member states can choose to give state aid to producers of either. The European Council and Parliament will now have 2 months to assess the delegated acts, after which they can either accept or reject the rules.
In Sweden, pupils are taking part in an Isvagssuvning, or a hole-in-the-ice exercise, part of their school's physical education class, to learn what to do if they fall through the ice on one of Sweden's many lakes or out in the archipelago. Courses like this are common in the Nordic country. Every day for 3 weeks, pupils will take turns jumping into the hole in the ice, which measures about 2 by 4 meters. The kids are fully clothed when they jump in, wearing winter bonnets, mittens, shoes or boots, and all.
For the students taking part on this day, it's optional if they want to jump in, but all of them do. They have big backpacks strapped on, which also help them float, and are attached to a safety rope held by the gym teacher. Most of the kids look apprehensive before it's their turn, but once they're done, most seem surprisingly unfazed, albeit freezing and soaked. Classes gain importance in recent years amid a rise in ice accidents. Pupils know the plunge also offers an opportunity to test their mettle.
FUNDAY News will help sharpen your English skills while keeping you informed on current international events. Tune into our other FUNDAY programs to learn more about the world's most important topics in English. Click the link below now to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Wei Li, your host. I'll see you next time.